Okay. Ronald Reagan once said, "I oppose registration for the draft because I believe the security of freedom can best be achieved by security through freedom." I agree. The draft has long been a source of controversy in the United States, and it's time to be clear. Drafting a military limits the freedoms of Americans and contradicts what we stand for. I offer three contentions in negation of the resolution. Contention 1, the draft is an unnecessary limit on freedom. The Cato Institute reports that, quote, "but volunteerism has worked and worked well. The AVF has delivered soldiers who are not only of above average intelligence, but willing warriors, patriots ready to fight for their country. Our problem today is not a military filled with those who want to be there, but a political leadership willing to risk war for peripheral interests. A draft cannot change that. If it could, we would not have had to construct a memorial to 58,000 people who died in a purposeless war 3 decades ago." In short, the all-volunteer force has been successful, and messing with success has dangerous potential. Contention 2. Instituting the draft would be impractical. The Cato Institute reports that, quote, "although the Selective Service System maintains a list of registrants that theoretically allows the agency to begin conscription at the drop of a hat, not all 18-year-olds register, and virtually none send in address changes, which makes the list questionable at best." Secondly, the Cato Institute also estimates that it would take at least 4 months after Congress approves a draft, an already lengthy process, to institute it. Contention 3. The draft would lead to more pointless wars. Quote, "call this the enlistment veto, because the United States has an all-volunteer force, AVF. Would-be volunteers act as a check on the political leaders who would send them to war, and the military leaders who would command them. If those leaders are reckless and abusive in their use of the troops, and miserly in the troops' compensation, then the military will have trouble filling its ranks. As a result, the leaders would be less inclined to use the military because the understaffed force would be less likely to achieve military success," the Cato Institute points out. If we don't have an all-volunteer force, there is no check on the power of the president to declare war. Reckless wars could be supported by a conscripted military. Moving on to my opponent's case, he first talks about how we have a lot of troops already in Iraq and Afghanistan, and we're not getting enough volunteers. What this is it's a prime example of the enlistment veto, because the soldiers are showing that they do not support the Iraq war, which is what they see as a pointless war, and they will not go and fight in a war that they don't believe in. What we need to do is we need to get out of Iraq before we even think about getting more troops. We can move the troops in Iraq over to Afghanistan, and our problem with troops in Afghanistan goes away. He also talks about how the troop surge helped. Well, moving them to Afghanistan is like a troop surge, so you don't need to use the draft for that. He also says it's a quick way out of Iraq. Also, we don't need a quick way out of Iraq. We should be getting out of there anyways. We don't need more troops. We just need to get out. Adding more troops would only extend the war. He finally says that 17 years of draft basically killed the Soviet Union. That's just not true. 17 years of draft led to troops being used as cannon fodder in pointless wars such as the Korean War and the Vietnam War, where thousands of Americans died. Thank you.